Good day and welcome to another exciting episode of Zoom Time. My name is Tunde Obe.
My name hasn't changed any, Charlie Ball.
Today's guest, indeed, is a very interesting personality. I'm sure most of you that would watch Nigerian television in the last, did I say 4 years or 3 years, have come to know him extremely well. But now today he's on Zoom Time. Of course, we do it our way. We're going to be handling things from a different direction today, but it's still going to be extremely exciting. So I just want to say, sit back, relax, fasten your seatbelt. It's time for Zoom Time.
Zoom, you zoom, zoom the camera, zoom, 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 zoom it down to maximum, zoom, zoom, zoom.
And who's our guest today? He is indeed the Special Assistant to the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria on Public Affairs. We're talking about Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, right here on Zoom Time. You're welcome, sir.
How do you do?
It's very nice to have you.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here.
Nice to meet you up close and personal.
Indeed.
First time. Of course, I've been seeing you,
Right.
all your other interviews.
Yes.
Welcome to Zoom Time.
Thank you very much.
The seat is not as hot.
But
But you can get a little warm sometimes.
That's okay.
But we always like to start from the beginning.
Okay.
You were born to the family of the prestigious, the late Chief Remi Fani-Kayode. What was early life like? What was your first growing up memories? How do you remember your father, your mother, and all your siblings?
Well, many things in that first question. It was a very, very interesting period for me. I mean, from very, very early on, I have vivid memories of some of the things that I witnessed, I saw, and I went through. Really extraordinary, because I remember as far back as I was 6 years old, the first, I'd say, defining moment in my life was when I was 6 years old, and I was confronted with what I would say a life-threatening situation when armed men that called themselves soldiers stormed our house in Ibadan. At that time, my father was Deputy Premier of the Western Region. And they came in, and I remember my mother coming into our bedroom. I was with my younger sister, and the older ones that were at school, you know, they weren't at home, but we were there, and came in and woke us up, and it was in the middle of the night, early hours of the morning. It was still dark, and I remember there were no lights inside the house. There was no light. They'd cut the lights and everything. And I remember when I got up, looking outside the window and seeing a convoy of vehicles coming up our driveway, very long driveway, so the vehicles were still far away, but we could see a convoy of vehicles, and you could hear very, you know, heavy sounding lorries were coming up the driveway. My mother was clearly panicking, and said we should get up and come into, you know, my parents' bedroom.
You were how old?
I was 6 years old. I remember this vividly, you know. We went into their room. When we got into their room, basically there was panic everywhere, and I saw my dad in his pajamas and in his dressing gown, trying to calm everybody down. They now brought out his shotgun, which I was terrified to see. And the next thing you knew, you heard them downstairs shouting, "Open the door, open the door, open the door, come out." You know, this kind of, it was really traumatic. You know, some were firing shots into the air. So my father now called us all and said, "Look, that there are some men here that want him. And they want, he doesn't know what they want, but it's him that they want. And that he is not going to start shooting from inside, despite the fact that he had a shotgun in his hand. But he wanted to explain to us, because he doesn't know what would happen. But he will go and meet them outside, because it's him they came for, not us. So we shouldn't worry, we'll be all right." And my mother was screaming, "Don't go out, don't go out." He said, "No, no." And then he did a short prayer for us, because you see, at that time, what I'm telling you about is, of course, the first attempted coup, January 66. The whole country was in turmoil. People were being killed. You know, all the leaders at that time were being killed, and this was what was unfolding in our own residence at the time. So he now he prayed for us and put down his shotgun and went downstairs and went out to meet. And when he went out there, we all ran to the balcony to see what was going on down there. And what they did was that, of course, they started brutalizing him. The first thing they said to him was that, where are your thugs now? You know. And my father, in a very sort of characteristic manner, instead of just keeping quiet, said, I don't have thugs, I have gentlemen. The minute he said that, one of them just hit him with the butt of his rifle. He started kicking him on the floor and all that. And then they picked him out, and he was, you know, the man was, he was young then. He was probably younger than I am today. So he was like, you know, also roughing it up with them. They got him, just threw him in the back of the lorry, and my mother was screaming. I'll never forget those screams. Don't kill him, don't kill him, don't kill him.
What was going on in your mind at the time?
I was, in fact, I missed out a very interesting part. In fact, for me, the most defining moment, I think probably of my life, was when they came in. I missed out this part. Before they took him out, he went to meet them, but they still came into the premises. Whilst he was downstairs,
yeah,
they still came into the premises before we went into the balcony. And you know, there's nothing worse than that. You see armed men, uniformed men, in your home. They came into my...
Was that first time you had seen a soldier?
No, I'd seen soldiers, you know, probably before them, but not aggressive ones coming for us, storming our home, entering my father's bedroom, entering all the rooms in the house, ransacking everywhere, looking for God knows what. They came into... We were now inside... Initially, we were inside my